In today's world, we are constantly connected. Through our smartphone, we constantly receive emails which we quickly answer, even on weekends and holidays. But is this healthy? I ask life coach Jerko Bozikovic where we should draw the line between work and private life. Hi Jerko, welcome in our studio.
Thanks, Kevin.
We are constantly connected these days and we run around with our smartphones, reading our emails, even for work, on holiday and so on. I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, do you do it?
I have to admit.
Yeah, and why?
Well, then I think, just a quick look to see whether there's something new in my mailbox, and well, it becomes a habit.
So you also do it in your private time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means that actually the boundaries between your work and your life, or your work-life balance...
Which boundaries?
yeah, and that is what many people will answer,
Yeah.
I don't have any more a work-life balance. And I think that if we don't have that, we're going to lose ourselves one day or the other. So let's talk about work-life balance.
Yeah.
And one of the major reasons why is, like you just said, we're always connected. There's always possibilities to get new impulses. The other day I heard on the radio a really interesting topic, and they said that actually, it was actually a study, and they said that we're all addicted to something and we're not aware of it.
And that is?
And that is, we're all addicted to news.
Oh, yeah.
We all want to get new impulses the whole time. For example, when you wake up, what do many people do? They put on the radio, and in the background they hear the news, and then they get into their car and they put on the radio and they hear new news and new stories, or they take the train or the bus and they'll have like a free newspaper, and then they get to work and they'll check their mails, new news, new impulses, new information. And then during the day, we'll go on Facebook, check is there anything interesting there, and on Twitter. And then sometimes during a break, we'll go to see are there any new headlines. And then you go back home, car, news.
Yeah.
And then, of course, many people you see, they have arranged their family ritual at home, dinner, etc., around the news, 7 o'clock news, and before bed, many people say, I'll just go on Facebook or check my mails if there's anything interesting. So that means that we are all the time busy with getting new information, and it's too much. It is way too much for many, many people. I think social media is amazing. It's amazing because it has given us a lot of freedom. It's been able to connect us with people we haven't seen for a long time, but from time to time we need to be able to say, stop. I am not going to get myself triggered by new impulses. Sometimes it's good to do what I just have.
But that's not easy if you're
addicted.
Of course
not. Yeah, well, it is some kind of an addiction. I mean, how many, I don't know if you've ever experienced it, be away where there is no connection.
Well, once we went hiking in the Himalayas, and it took me about, I think, 3 days to be satisfied with the idea that there was no connection and I couldn't read my mails.
Yeah, and you felt bad in the beginning.
Yeah.
And we really are like going to a detoxification.
Yeah.
And while on the other hand, we're all longing not to be connected. So, one of the reasons why often we stay connected. How many people don't go on a holiday and they're like, okay, I'll be away, but if there's something really, you can contact me. Well, it means that we're not switching off that part of the brain that is now still linked to work. Often it is because we think, no, we can't do that. We're not allowed to do that. It's not okay. It will not be well perceived by my boss, by my colleagues, by my clients if I'm not reachable.
That's
but
true.
if I'm all the time 24/7 reachable, how can I then create time for me? How can I refill myself? How can I find new energy, new impulses? So many people say, January 1st, I'm going to do sports, I'm going to,
a diet and whatever.
Work in the garden, invite friends, go at least once a month to theater or the movies, and then,
But that never happens.
It never happens. And often it is because there's always other priorities, and often those priorities are things that are linked that we find more important because we think it is more important. But is it always? No, it is not always.
So it's a matter of have the guts to tell your colleagues, well, I'm on holiday and I'm not reachable.
I'm not reachable, and that doesn't mean that, certain positions, they need to be reachable. If I know people who put their cell phone 24 hours a day next to their bed, even at night because they want to be reachable. I don't think it's healthy unless, of course, you're in guard and, you like a doctor or like, a security person for a chemical plant or whatever. But that's a defined timing of 24 hours or 48 hours and then you can switch that off. But, you don't have to live life that way. And often it has to do with what we call limiting beliefs.
Okay,
Now,
what's that about?
we think certain things, we have certain convictions and either they're helping us or they're limiting us, limiting beliefs or stimulating beliefs. For example, if I want to go talk in front of a public and I'm telling myself, these people, they're much more educated than I am and they know much more about the subject and actually I'm not such a good speaker and I'm also quite shy. That belief will have an impact on me, how I stand, how I breathe, how I talk. I start behaving like my belief. So what I think is what I become. Now, if I come and I'm like, okay, I've really prepared myself well, and I'm really gonna get the best out of it, and I'm sure that everybody will learn something, and I'm happy that I can talk about it. I will stand differently. My voice will sound differently, and I will be much more secure. That is also a belief. It's a stimulating belief. So. Big limiting beliefs, they can be either individual, things that only I think, or collective, that society or a group of people think. And we see that a lot of people don't have a good work-life balance because they have beliefs like, I shouldn't be doing that, or I'm not allowed to, or maybe if I really say I'm not reachable, this will have an impact on my career, or my boss, or my clients, or my colleagues will look upon me on a negative way. And what happens is that if I never can disconnect, we start burning up. That are the burnouts, that are people taking antidepressives, all these things, not only for that, but it is because often we have not set our boundaries.
To make sure we don't end up with a burnout, you give coachings on this subject.
I do. It's so important to be able to work with people and look at them and look at, where do they want to go? What is important for them? What are their values? What is their mission? And what is the behavior they're having? What are the convictions they have at this moment? And are they helping where you want to go? Or are they just obstructing the goals you want to reach? And we can be working on it, talk about it, create some insights, do exercises to really understand what are the dynamics that make that I don't always reach what I really would like to reach. And one of the most important things in reaching is to create this work-life balance. Be 100% at work when I need to be there, but also to have a 100% life balance.
Okay, Jekko, thank you very much for coming over.
You're welcome.
And you at home, thank you for watching our show. I hope to see you next week.